Hello, and welcome to Leadership Means. I'm Guy Greco, and it's my pleasure to take you through a series of leadership workshops that I'm confident will give you the skills and techniques you can use to deal effectively with all the challenges and rewards that comes from being a successful leader. I don't know why you decided to manage people. Could be that you were encouraged to do so, could be that the money was better, or it could be that it was just time to move up the ladder as you looked at your organization and decided on your next move. But whatever the reason, you're here now. And I hope you understand that this is a very big responsibility to be the boss, to lead people. During my corporate career covering 20 years with the airlines and banking, I spent most of my time in human resources and in training and development. I created dozens of leadership development programs during that time. I also spent 5 years in the operational areas of these businesses, where I had the chance to apply the leadership skills that I was teaching in a real-time environment. I will share my success stories, but just as importantly, my mistakes, so that you can adopt the habits and skills that work and avoid some common pitfalls. I've also spent nearly 20 years working with government agencies, with one of my biggest clients being the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. So I understand both private and public sectors very well. Let me begin by describing the series of workshops that are currently available to you through this website. Our core program is called the Essential Leadership Skills Series. There are 6 very important sessions to this program. If you decide to complete the full workshop series, I recommend that you follow the order shown in the Leadership Means website. There's a natural building block process if you start, for example, with workshop number 1 and conclude with workshop number 6. Let me briefly review all 6 workshops for you. The first session is called The Power of Influence. In this first session, we make the case that leadership is not about titles or positions. We'll look at the impact of influence versus authority. Leaders who have influence get commitment. Leaders who use only their authority, playing the boss card, get compliance. Sometimes asserting your authority is necessary because of a crisis or an emergency. But if the only tool you have in your tool chest is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Learning to use your influence to gain the commitment of the people who report to you is a far better and longer-lasting approach. I'll explain more of what I mean by that if you join me for Session 1, The Power of Influence. Session 2 is Effective Performance Counseling. In this workshop, we remove the mystery and the apprehension of addressing employee behavior or performance problems. We provide a time-proven, sensible 6-step counseling roadmap that, if you trust and follow it, will lead to far more productive counseling sessions. In Session 3, we discuss how to develop your employees. When you work with self-reliant, dependable people, you have a much more satisfying work life. And in this session, we show you how to increase the level of initiative for every member of your staff. The goal is to get everyone to a level we call act and advise, where employees are not dependent on you for action. Enroll in this workshop if you want to build your bench. Session 4 is about sustaining your top performers. Sometimes we tend to focus on the more difficult employees because they're like a flat tire demanding attention. But we have to also remember our superstars, because they may begin to wonder if their effort is worth it. And you can remind them that their effort certainly does matter through simple appreciation and positive reinforcement. We'll show you a technique that goes way beyond the typical attaboy. In Session 5, we talk about that all-encompassing subject of communication. Specifically, we'll talk about how you can adapt your communication style to connect better with others. And finally, in Session 6, we look at employee motivation. We'll look at the power of autonomy, mastery, and purpose when it comes to engaging your staff. Just about every employee wants enough freedom from the boss to be innovative and creative in solving problems. They want to be good at something, and they want to believe that the work they do matters. This session shows you how to create a motivational environment and then get out of the way. Session 1 will give you a chance to see if you like my teaching style and figure out if you and I are a good fit. I hope we are. You can bundle all 6 sessions or select the workshops that are most interesting or relevant for you. And be sure to check back on this website often because we will continue to add important leadership and personal development topics. So whether you're just starting out as a first-time supervisor or a seasoned manager who would like to add some additional tools, this series is for you. I can promise you some aha moments, and I'm confident I'll put a spin on things that you may not have thought of before. I've taught leadership effectiveness courses for over 30 years. I love what I do, and I hope it shows. I guarantee you'll learn a lot of very useful and timely skills and information and have some fun in the process. But if for any reason you're not satisfied with a particular session, I will happily refund the full amount of that workshop. Let's talk a bit about how each workshop is structured. For each workshop, we start with some pre-work. And that's usually a self-test to get you thinking about the leadership behaviors associated with the workshop and to evaluate how you think you're currently performing in relation to these behaviors. I will also provide a useful workbook, handouts, worksheets, and summaries that you can download for future reference. One challenge with online video workshops is that you don't get the opportunity to ask me questions. I recognize that. That is why at least once per month, I will be conducting a webcast for all of my enrollees where you can ask the questions that are most important to you based on the workshops you've completed. I'll send a schedule of the monthly webcast to everyone enrolled in my workshops. During the course of these workshops, I'm going to present some simple but very impactful questions to ask your employees. I want you to think about these questions. Answer them honestly yourself. Then ask your staff. I encourage you to use the questions I offer to continue to improve your working relationships with the people that count on you. I promise to keep things moving. I'll throw in a little humor from time to time and share some helpful stories and illustrations with recommendations to benefit you and your staff. I promise it'll be worth your time and effort. So, are you ready to develop your leadership skills and gain the absolute confidence to deal effectively with just about any employee situation? Good. Just click on the link for Workshop 1 and let's get started.